everybody, I'm here with Juan, and he works for NAC Architects. And where are we at?
We are at the Hilda L Solis Care First Village in downtown Los Angeles.
Now, you're just telling me you don't call these homes, you call them...
We are calling these sleeping units because they are temporary, and the idea is that this is a temporary situation in the process of moving on to other services and permanent solutions.
Yeah. So, as many of you know, we have an unaffordable housing crisis in every city in America, and we need to create housing for homeless people as quickly as possible. And here is one solution that is really promising, and I'm excited. Let's go take a tour.
Let's do it. So we are on about 4 acres of county-owned land that was previously a refinery, and then the buildings came down back in 2018. The county of Los Angeles bought the property. The original intent was to expand the jailing system across the street. That was quickly shelved because SB1, or the Supervisory District number 1, mainly under Hilda Solis, saw the need for housing instead of more jails. Well, this project is possible from the CARES Act funding, and so this is a really good example of seeing that funding go to use for something very important. We obviously know that it's a crisis here in Los Angeles, and this is a way to respond to it. We will have a total of 232 people between these two buildings, A and B, what we're calling the orange ones and the yellow ones. It's 132 people. Temporary units off to the other side that we'll see in a bit, 100 people in Rockbridge. Project started construction in October of last year, and because of the nature of the fast track, by the end of the year, you have what you see here built out. And then these last months have been refining the details, the landscape, the painting, the finishing.
There's already people living here.
There are people on site.
A very unique story on how this tour came about. Last week, I was invited to speak on a panel. I was honored to speak on a panel on diversity at an architecture conference. And I was ranting about the tiny shacks known as Pallet Shelters. And one of the architects contacted me and thought I was talking about this. And I said, no, on Invisible People, we've even written about these sleeping containers. And so I asked for an interview, and here we are.
It was made possible to go up so quickly because of the modular nature of all the components that are here. The container units are modular. They come in pre-assembled from a factory and approved. The elevator did as well. And so think of this as a kit of parts that we are assembling to make this happen. It reduced cost. It actually decreased production time because they are, again, built in factory. What we did here on site was prepare the foundations, and then the units from the factory started showing up, and we started stacking them, just one on top of the other, and that happened very quickly.
You have heard me say many times that bathrooms are important. Privacy, dignity, for somebody to come off the streets and start healing. I cannot stress how important having your own bathroom, your own shower, your own space to start rebuilding your self-worth and self-esteem. Often people out on the streets are there because of trauma, and then the streets add more layers of trauma. So having a bathroom and your own space is so important for the success of any homeless program.
This is our mechanical chase, where we have our services for the units coming in, water, electrical, plumbing, water heaters, the HVAC system, so all of the utilities that come into these units are all housed in this location.
This is the biggest dog park I have seen at any homeless services.
These were also fabricated off-site in a factory, assembled and delivered on-site. A little bit of difference between this one and the other buildings we were looking at. The other buildings are sitting on a foundation. They are not going anywhere. They are temporary housing, interim housing, but they are not going anywhere as buildings. These units are, in the other hand, they're on wheels. So if the need arises for these units to be moved elsewhere, that can be done with these particular units.
And you may wonder why sometimes we have masks on. Well, we're both vaccinated, so when we're doing interviews when nobody else is around, we take off the mask. But we're in an area where there's people around, so to be safe, we wear a mask, and you should too. Just like the other sleeping containers, there is a bathroom. Yesterday, visiting a homeless encampment, I was discouraged seeing homelessness grow, but touring these container sleepers has me encouraged because there are solutions. We just have to push the politicians to make them happen.
A big shout out to Ikea. They provided and furnished a lot of these rooms that you see here. So all of these units that we're standing on now, the furnishings that you see are provided by Ikea.
You guys have to put them together?
We did have to put them together. We brought a team of people from NAC Architecture, from our partners over at Henderson Engineering as well, Brando Johnson, civil engineers. We're on site.
IKEA furniture is notorious. So if architects can't put it together, thank you, IKEA.
That's right.
Homelessness was growing before the pandemic. It's reported here in Los Angeles, homelessness will increase 86% in the next 4 years. We need to take significant action now, not tomorrow, now, to get as many homeless people out from under the bridge, out from the encampments, out from the sidewalks into housing. We need creative ways to reduce costs and scale housing development that provide dignity. Tiny shacks, come on. This container sleeping village is amazing. There's going to be 232 homeless people, or formerly homeless people, living here. And it's also interim housing where they're going to look for more permanent solutions. But as we know, housing is hard to come by. So when you're going to have a temporary solution, that solution needs to provide dignity while the people are waiting for a more permanent solution. A tiny shack doesn't do that. These do. And it's interesting to me, the reason this tour even took place, because I asked a conference full of architects that if you're not going to sleep in it yourself, it's not a solution. And I would sleep in one of these. I think that is the world of difference, and that's why we need you. We need you to let your politicians know we need more solutions like this.